Hello, Hecate devotees, witches, and occultists alike out there. Today's video is about Hecate and my adventures with ghost hunting. Not everybody who loves or is devoted to Hecate goes out and does this. This is just a hobby I like to do. Do I expect to find spirits out there when I'm wandering in the desert? No. But I do like to look through the abandoned houses and see the history that's been here. Some of these houses have been here since the 50s or older. We found a barn once that was 1920s, which is cool. Or Indian petroglyphs, which are thousands of years old. The point is, when I go out ghost hunting, Hecate's always on my mind. I'm always saying chants in my head because, well, you're out there and you don't know what to expect. It's more dangerous to run into people and animals than it really is, or fall into a building, than to be in danger from a spirit. So, with this subject, I figured I'd talk a little bit about my beliefs in spirits and entities, because, well, I've had 15 years experience out at the paranormal groups, and I'll tell you about my scariest adventure. I was out at Tehachapi, which is by Bakersfield, and it's Cesar Chavez Memorial Hospital. In the back of it, there was an old tuberculosis clinic, and that night they were slaughtering cows at a neighboring farm, so that was creepy because you heard very disturbed animals throughout the night. And we adventured around, and we got to the back where there was a kitchen attached to a church. And in there, about 6 foot high, so it wasn't like somebody got their hair caught, was a hook with a chunk of red hair on it. You know, it wasn't a wig, it looked bloody and disturbed. And there was a handprint, which I don't know what it was because it was dark and we were looking through the windows. Didn't want to go in there to get tuberculosis. And there was a handprint down the wall, and when we got home and we played back the EVPs, we caught some disturbing "I'm gonna kill you" and "fuck you bastards" on the recording. So that was a fun experience. So that in itself made me go, okay, there's stuff out there. Sometimes you're gonna run into things, whether it was human or not. That's something we're gonna discuss now. So human versus other entities out there. This is my opinion. I'm trying not to piss anybody off. But to me, and believing in Hecate, I think that she knows what she's doing. I know she knows what she's doing. She's not going to leave a human spirit here on the earthly plane by happenstance. Everything is delved out, you know. I do believe in free will, let me state that. But I do also believe in karma. We have a choice to recognize these patterns and change them, but these patterns are here in our lives so we can learn from them. With that said, human entities, if they're here, it takes a very special set of circumstances, okay? For example, you know, tragedy is a big one. Murder. Not all murders, but in certain circumstances when it's been really horrible and the spirit is pulled out of the body and it's witnessing or knows what's going on, it sits and it wants life because it's just too overwhelming. And sometimes in that circumstance, I think Hecate will let the spirit wander and mope. I mean, it does happen, but it's rare. Suicide is a big one. It is awful to say it, but I really feel suicide. When you make the choice to leave this life, it's the want for the change in life that isn't happening that keeps you here. So there's a lot of occultists that work with those entities or spirits, human spirits, let me be specific, to help them move on from being stuck here in this earthly plane, because, I mean, that's a miserable existence to wander around seeing your loved ones go through life and not being able to do anything about it. Drug overdose and coma. Not all comas, but sometimes when you are away from your body, like astral. That's why you're always got to be careful when you astrally project somewhere. When you are separating your spirit from your body, sometimes, you can't get back. And in those happenstances, sometimes you wander too far. Hecate always knows where you're at, of course, but it's the will to go back. If you're wrestling a cow out there with a rope, it's going to be difficult. And it's, you're going to drag it back to do whatever you're going to do with the cow. But same with the spirit. It wants to be here on the earthly plane. It's going to be difficult. Insanity is also linked with that. I mean, like I said, not all cases, but sometimes, again, when you're mentally, consciously not attached with your body, and you're out there somewhere else, not in this plane of existence, then it's going to be hard, again, to wrangle you back to where you need to go. To see that light, that torch, to follow it, and go through that transition of rebirth or whichever destination she chooses you to go. With that being said, there are also non-human entities that station in locations. Ones that are either protectors of the place or they love the sensation of desolation. So they feed off that energy, so they, sit in that spot. Also, karma retribution. Again, I stated karma, but there's a reason for it. So, when it comes to non-human entities, I feel, and again, this is my opinion, if you're going to enslave a spirit to do your work and not respect it, but demand it to do shit for you, you're gonna have to deal with the other end of that. In some point in your lives, it's gonna come back to you. This can be unwilling possession. Sometimes possession is willing, but this is unwilling possession where, poltergeist, where shit moves about your cabinets and you go mad from, hearing things that aren't there that nobody else can. It's specific to you. Those kinds of things. When you enslave something to do your bidding, it's gonna catch up to you. But again, this is my opinion. This is why you should always respect whatever entity, deity, or spirits you're working with, including your own ancestors. I mean, no ancestor's going to be like, well, this kid's a little turd. Why the hell do I want to work with him? Respect is the most important thing in whatever you're working with. With that being said, so human, non-human, there are, I believe, time imprints where it's not human or non-human entities, where it is literally time imprinted at a spot. For example, Civil War, right? In some of their battlefields, people have experienced, like especially Shenandoah, they'll see the soldiers out there during certain times fighting or feel it, and they're like, oh, well, there's reenactment happening, and it's not, it's actually spirits. That to me is like a time imprint where it's like, think about grooves in a record. It's playing a recording that was there, and it's, reenacting itself pretty much. Stonehenge is another great one. People feel that energy there all the time. It is that imprint of what was not current spiritual energy going on. That being said, not all abandoned buildings have entities in them. I go because I like to look at the history of people's lives. I mean, you go through some of these houses and they've left all their stuff there. Or it's been, years, and you can see what kind of newspapers are stuffed in their walls. Those kind of things interest me, which is why I go ghost hunting to begin with. Do I expect to catch a spirit? No. Have I worked with spirits before? Absolutely. Do I believe them? Of course. So, again, respect whatever you're doing. You never know what you're going to get into. And these are just some of my misadventures. I mean, I could tell you some amazing stories out there of places I've been and have actually had experiences. I mean, I'm really skeptical, 100% skeptical. So I would rather not believe something's there and find out and disprove every single factor before I'm 100% like, yes, this is it. I've heard of a lot of people being empathic in ghost hunting, which is, a great asset because you could feel things. Oh, this is another good subject. To me, when you go to feel a human spirit or, know a spirit's there, you're going to feel like sadness, like a almost unbearable anxiety of just depression and anxiety. And that to me is what human versus non-human feels like. Non-human feels completely different. I guess that's, again, because I work with the deity of death and they feel a little different to me than they do most people. That's all I could think of right now. If you're part of my Facebook feed, then you'll see pictures now and again that I post of places I go. Anyway, I hope this inspires you. I'm not sure to do what. Maybe ghost hunt on your own, or at least respect any type of spiritual work you're doing out there. That's absolutely important. I hope this video finds you well and enjoy. Till next time. And I promise next time it will be a ritual, okay? Bye.